Emerald Downs Weekly, a weekly show right here on NBC Sports Northwest. Thanks for joining us, Joe Withey, Gary Doherty, and track president Phil Ziegler. We're talking Emerald Downs racing. Maybe some other tracks might slip in, but looking forward to the show. 1 hour every Thursday night at 11 p.m. and Friday morning at 9 a.m. 3 days of racing this week. We keep adding days to the week, Phil.
I know. First Fab Friday of the year is coming up, Gary, and a lot of fun and excitement on our first Friday night racing, post time 6:30.
You bet. We got some live music, a tradition between the races, but a Jimmy Vegas band. Make sure to get here early, 4 o'clock. You get a Fab Friday T-shirt.
Ooh, that's a very popular promotion. That's a great
right
shirt.
Here. Emerald Down rocks. Why are we rocking this year? Because after the races, we have live music for free on the 5th floor. This week, we got tribute bands playing AC/DC and Aerosmith. Some good rock and roll this Friday night.
Hey, you held up that T-shirt. I think either a white T-shirt or a black T-shirt are probably the most popular, aren't they? So we got white this year.
That's nice.
It's very nice. And this is an XL, so I think that's in my wheelhouse.
And
once
here's the
again,
thing. When you wear the shirt back
right
on Friday nights the rest of the entire season, you get in free.
Yeah. So
Good
be
deal.
here this Friday. And
make sure to wash it.
To wash it in between. You have a whole week to do your laundry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is a valuable item. Good for free admission on Fridays all the way through September. That's not all that's going on Friday night. We're going to resurrect one of these babies right here, aren't we?
Mm-hmm.
That's Gary's deal.
Yeah.
That's your promotion.
40 feet. Well, 3 people get a chance to throw a ringer, and what's it? First prize is still $1,000, right?
If you get a ringer, yep.
Yep. And who determines the ringer? We'll have We'll have an official out there.
Who puts the stake in the ground?
Spot on. I pound it in, make sure it's deep into the racetrack. That's a tough goal, but we have a nice sledgehammer, and so far we've had no issues, right, Joe? You're out there.
Yeah, get to know Gary, because if you sign up for the horseshoe toss, there's a good chance you'll get a consolation prize of some sort, too.
Everybody who gets picked out of the hopper gets either a $20 gift card or $10 gift card, or the big prize, $1,000 for throwing a ringer.
$1,000 in the horseshoe toss starting this Friday night at Emerald Downs. So looking forward to that. Racing on Saturday and Sunday at 2 p.m. Our phones have been busy in customer service and, the main line the last couple of weeks, because our Mother's Day buffet is quite famous here in Western Washington.
And it's sold out.
Yeah.
So bring Mom anyway, though. We have other places to eat and other great food throughout the facility. Prize drawings, free family activities all day for Mother's Day. It is a tradition around this region to come to Emerald Downs and bring the whole family on Mother's Day. And remember, everybody 17 and under gets in free, so it's a very affordable day to spend with the entire family.
You bet. Face painters, pony rides, and wax hands. And we're expecting weather in the mid-80s.
Yes,
wow,
I saw that forecast. That's great.
That is fantastic. And, okay, so Mother's Day, Phil mentioned prize drawings. I'm going to emphasize that a little bit. We really get a lot of help from Friends of Emerald Downs, local businesses, vendors, and we have a long list of prizes that moms can just fill out that free entry blank when they come into the track on Sunday.
Yeah,
and
technically all ladies. All ladies can enter.
Oh, all ladies?
All ladies can enter. So
you can't verify the mother status that easy?
If they have a poodle at home, they're dog's mom.
Okay.
Right.
And the same thing on Father's Day. We allow all the guys.
So some great prize drawings, in addition to many of the moms will, of course, be getting treated to our fantastic buffet. Remember, it's sold out this year, so keep that in mind for next year as we move ahead just a little bit. Look ahead. But speaking of looking ahead, Friday, Saturday, Sunday this weekend, and of course that's going to be the regular schedule for the rest of the season for the most part. And the next week we have plenty going on as well. We'll talk about the Derby, but the Preakness isn't that far off.
I know the Preakness, and that's a big weekend. We got so much stuff going on. Yeah. Preakness Day, the Clydesdales are going to be here on that day.
That's great.
And we have Hawk Fest in our park, which is a charitable group of Seahawk fans that put on this big event. That's right. That's free.
They're going to bring out 20 or 30 cars, all detailed out in Seahawk gear.
Yes, look that up on Facebook. And, of course, we have Pancakes. The exotic animals.
Pancakes, too.
That weekend. That's Sunday. Pancakes on Saturday. Yeah, Preakness Pancakes. Gary, you never miss that.
No,
I try not to.
A little bacon, too. It's always a good morning. I'm here bright and early most days. Right, Phil?
Yes.
Juice
Sure.
and coffee
Right.
as well. Yeah. Just don't ask Gary what time the track opens. That's
Yes.
all.
And then look at this. Zebras this year. The world's only zebra race joining the camels and ostriches. We had 10,000 people for this event last year, and this year it's better. Gary, you got the zebras.
We got zebras in addition to the ostriches and camels. We'll have all the animals set up for both Saturday and Sunday viewing out in the south end of the track level. So come on out and see your favorite ostrich. Get a selfie with a camel or a zebra this year. And I did not make weight for the zebra race, so we're still looking for one additional rider.
Did you just say come out and see your favorite ostrich?
I did.
Okay.
They're all back from last year.
I could tell the difference in them for sure. Yeah, not. But no, they're all going to race. That's part of the deal. Camel race, ostrich race, zebra race. So those are pretty exciting. There's a look at last year's event, as that one camel broke a little slowly.
Yes, Matt Ditterman, track announcer, was wearing a GoPro in the race. I don't think Tom Harris has agreed to do that this year.
Yeah, Tom's, speaking of Gary making weight, Tom's a big boy.
Oh.
But no, the Preakness race also on Saturday, May 19th, is all the second jewel in the Triple Crown. And, of course, we're going to recap the Derby a little bit on this show, the Kentucky Derby, that is, and Justify, no secret now. He was the winner. He's headed toward the Preakness and the second jewel in racing's Triple Crown, Preakness Pancakes. And
the first stakes race of the meet that Sunday?
the Seattle Stakes for 3-year-old fillies
Very
is
nice.
also on Sunday, May 20th as well. Just business has
There's a
been
lot
great
going
so
on.
far, too.
Yeah.
Already in the first 5 days. We've had some excellent days. Kentucky Derby Day, opening day was great, and we're looking forward to keep that going. And if it's going to be nice weather, that's even better. So, and one thing we didn't mention for Friday night, we do have a carryover in that jackpot pick 7 wager. Nobody's had 7 for 7 at Emerald Downs yet this year through 5 days, and that's not that uncommon. It's tough to put 7 winners on your ticket, but as that carryover pool grows for the jackpot, that handle will increase daily, and that carryover could grow as well. So keep an eye on that. It's the last 7 races. So this Friday, it'll be the entire card. The 20-cent jackpot pick 7 will start in race number 1, Fab Friday night, coming up very soon. And horseshoe toss. We'll be right back on Emerald Downs Weekly. Keep that thing away
I think
from
I'm going to be the honorary steward.
I want to see you throw that
Tosser.
thing once. Yes.
Yeah, should I do that?
all the fans.
You cheated everything else. Figure out a way to do it on that.
Thanks again for joining us on Emerald Downs Weekly. Joe Withy, Gary Doherty, and Phil Ziegler, and talked about a great weekend upcoming, the next couple weekends. And let's take a look back at last weekend, Saturday and Sunday racing. Kentucky Derby Day Saturday. The weather cooperated. We had an excellent crowd, good business.
Fancy
and,
hats. Lots of
lot of
fancy
hats.
hats.
The hat contest happened, and we crowned the winners. That was outstanding, and we took a little break to watch the Kentucky Derby on the big screen. Some of the things that happened throughout the whole weekend, we had a big payoff, fellas, in the pick 5 wager on Sunday. It carried over from Saturday, and we had a payout of $23,000 in the 50-cent pick 5 on Sunday. There were 2 winning tickets.
Yeah.
And there were no favorites in those final 5 races. That's kind of what upped it. In fact, a couple of odds-on favorites.
Oh, I had 4. I got paid for 4. I didn't get any money for getting 4 out of 5. Missed that
this time.
first leg. That doggone 20-1 shot.
I know.
came
You
from off
called
the
me.
pace.
You said, I'm out.
I'm out.
I'm out.
Well,
One race in.
that was one of our big payoffs in the pick 5 here at Emerald Downs. So looking forward to that. You know, we don't have a carryover that often. How about as we transition to our feature race on Saturday? That was a big payoff of the week as well. 29-1, no talking back. Here she is coming down the stretch. She was a maiden in against winners, yet she wins this race pretty easily, Gary.
Yeah, that was neat to see Jody Peets in the barn get the big start. You know, she ran, I believe, into a stakes race last year, and so got a little relief today. And big run, 109.2. It's a fast time, 29-1. That was great to see with Ann Sanguinetti.
Ann Sanguinetti aboard
Right.
for trainer Chris Stensley. And Jody Peets and her co-owner Steve Shimizu were named Owners of the Week for being associated with that victory. Nice to see. Jody's a good supporter of local
You
racing.
bet.
Absolutely, yeah.
So no talking back, big upset on Saturday. And also on Saturday, a little earlier, we can maybe backtrack a little bit. The Trifecta King scored.
By golly,
Let's
that's
make
right.
it happen.
The crown gets to go on, finally.
Here's your
You
race,
can wear
Gary.
I needed the 2 to win this race. Right now I was a little nervous, but we the Beaver came back
That was
and
close.
won by a nose. That was fantastic. The horse run second and get nothing. So 5 to 2 over 4 to 1 over 8 to 1. So I was wearing the king around a little bit. I
We
better not
should
put it on now.
explain that
Yes.
in exchange for your admission to get to Emerald Downs and buying a program, you get a trifecta every day, courtesy of Gary. It's in the program. He calls himself the Trifecta King. And usually your bets are what, about $15, $20?
Yeah, $20
something
to
like that?
$30. I invested $26 and got back $114.
Nice,
So we
there
showed
it
an
is.
$88 profit. So
That's great. Weave it
Wow.
to Beaver. Came back and won that race. The Trifecta King scored on Saturday.
Off the
And-
snide, Joe.
Yeah. We also had a near triple dead heat last week. Sunday afternoon, we've never had one of those at Emerald Downs. Let's listen to Tom Harris call this one. And okay, well, we can watch.
I need a 7.
Pretend Tom
I need
Harris
a
is
7.
calling this one.
Oh,
Wow.
How about that finish right there?
Somebody, didn't one of you guys predict, that was your big prediction of the year,
triple dead heat.
that there would be a triple dead heat? That almost happened.
That was one of my also eligibles. Tom
That was-
Harris has called
that's
one in
right.
the state and is going to try and call 2. That
Yeah.
was almost one right there, by golly.
If you thought the outside horse won, you were correct. Ryan Walt on the outside at 20 to 1, and it was a tie for second, a dead heat between Crimson Warlock and Citizen Sam, and then just ahead behind them was Rallying Market. So 4 horses within a long neck in that race, and pretty close to a triple dead heat. Something we haven't had here at Emerald Downs. There was one in Yakima that Tom, as you mentioned, did call in the mid-90s. So that was pretty exciting, and that started the pick 5 as well, and enabled that payoff to be so high of $23,000. How about Sunday's feature race? We had some of the top fillies and mares here at Emerald Downs compete on Sunday, and the favorite Invested Prospect is on the rail there, and she showed her speed, but couldn't quite hang in there. Gazing's on the inside, number 3, but here comes last year's champ, Citizen Kitty. Actually, that was Invested Prospect finishing 3rd, but I did get the winner right. Citizen Kitty, Washington champion, older filly or mare last year for the Highlander Racing of Bruce and Cass Mahler, trainer Jeff Metz. And Citizen Kitty ridden by Jose Zanino. He was on her for the first time. Nice job.
Yeah, it was fantastic. She's won, a handful of stakes here, and she was racing in Southern California before showing up here against some really nice horses. A little relief in class over the weekend.
Yep.
And ran down that front runner who was like 5 or 6 year lifetime.
Yeah, they all needed the race, except Citizen Kitty was the only one that had some recent form.
True.
So sometimes that's a good angle to play with all these horses coming off layoffs.
And they're back in 3 weeks in the first stakes race for that division.
The Hastings Stakes, right, which Citizen Kitty won last year en route again to her top older filly or mare at Emerald Downs and Washington champion status. So that was a nice win. And by the way, Jeff Metz was named Trainer of the Week. He won 4 races over Saturday and Sunday. He has a slight lead, 6-5 over Frank Lucarelli in the training standings. Metz, of course, won the title here at Emerald Downs in 2013, 14, and 15.
And he broke a title record
That's
one
right.
of those years.
66 wins and 1 meet. The Jockey of the Week last week, Javier Matias, won his first 3 mounts of the week, which comprised Saturday and Sunday. He finished 3 for 5 last week. Here he is aboard Blazin' BB on Saturday. He took the early daily double last week. Rojo Bo Peep. Or excuse me, that was Blazin' BB.
Yeah.
And he did win aboard that mare.
We love Javier.
Javier.
Yes.
He's had a
Always fun
excellent run.
to have around here.
That's right. So Javier Matias, our jockey of the week from last week, he'll get a nice little certificate. I think we do a great job recognizing jockey, trainer, owner, as well as groom and exercise rider every week here at Emerald Downs. We spread the wealth.
Gary gives them some prizes, right?
Prizes, and we update the leaderboard every day out by the paddock. We've had to put some new names on the board this year. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, and again, Jeff Metz, a slight lead over Frank Lucarelli, who is a 5-time leading trainer here at Emerald Downs, with second place right now behind Metz, a 3-time leading trainer here at Emerald Downs. Okay, well, many of you watched the Kentucky Derby, watched and wagered, so we'll recap the Kentucky Derby and maybe a little angle from us as well. We'll be right back here on Emerald Downs Weekly.
The Sloggy Derby.
Yeah, it's wet again.
The wettest ever, they said.
Is that right?
They said.
Quagmire.
More water on the track.
But when it's wet, you can't get any wetter, as they say on Seinfeld.
I know. That's why you want to be in front.
Emerald Downs Weekly, NBC Sports Northwest. Catch us every Thursday night at 11 p.m. or you can watch the show also at 9 a.m. on Friday mornings. And we are reviewing activity at Emerald Downs and elsewhere. Kentucky Derby was last Saturday, and a great crowd here at Emerald Downs, as we mentioned. All tracks do great business from the Kentucky Derby. It's the world's most famous horse race, the 144th running this past Saturday. And last week we had some predictions. Let's watch the race, the last part of the historic Kentucky Derby. And most of you know, Bob Baffert scored again. Let's go to the video.
Good Magic and Jose Ortiz a length behind as they come into the final furlong. Bravazzo's down the center of the track, and then Audible on the inside, who's now up in a third. Justify a 2-length lead as they come to the final 16. Good Magic on the outside is second. Audible third toward the inside. Then in Still Regard, they're coming to the wire. He's just awesome. Justify has won the Kentucky Derby.
All right, Justify.
The favorite came through, and
again,
it's been an incredible run of favorites.
I know. Now, we got to go back to last week. I want a little credit here. I believe I had this one.
Oh, what?
Right? Guys,
you
wait.
made a pretty good pick.
No, Justify.
I thought you bet.
Wait.
I'm going to tell you first
pizza
of
or
all who's
something.
going to win.
Okay.
Okay, Justify. 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 Justify.
How many ways can I say this? Going to tell you who's going to win.
Well, you are track president, and you do have the ability to tell things what to do, and include
I'm going to tell you who's going to win, quote unquote, Justify.
Make fake news on us.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember you picking Good Magic, which wasn't bad. A second at 9 to 1.
There's no evidence of that. No.
None?
Yeah, there is. I go to YouTube.com, everybody, and
I'm
watch
not the
last
only
week's
one
show.
that made a prediction, though, involving Justify.
Well, I didn't pick him. I picked Good Magic.
Yeah, but a couple of weeks ago, somebody...
Oh.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yes.
Yeah, let's hear from the
Gary,
man in the
Now,
middle.
what was this?
You had something to say about this horse.
This is off the record.
Justify wins. I'll buy pizza for the administration department. How's that?
Oh. How many are in the department, Phil?
There's a lot of people.
There's a lot in
of
admin
people.
down there. That includes both sides of the building there, doesn't it?
Where
Both
is
sides
the
of room?
pizza, Gary?
Yeah, okay.
You conveniently forgot about that.
But I kind of knew about it. Didn't know it was going to reappear on the show. We'll go to the local joint here and
We remember things
order
like
some
that.
pizza. I know.
When you open mouth, insert
What was
Justify.
it? Well, he ran good. I thought out of a half mile and 45 and change he's head and head. He can't keep going and beat all the closers. And they said this is a good group this year. But, eighth pole he cleared off, and Good Magic kind of hung a little bit. And
little.
And your buddy, $1 million, Mike Smith, or
Mike
what?
Smith,
Big
yeah.
money?
Big Money Mike.
He made a few bucks, didn't he?
Yeah.
6 straight favorites in the Kentucky Derby. You have a couple more statistics, don't you, on Derby?
Yeah,
Fast.
well, there's a few of them. One of them, this has been the 19th straight year that didn't need to have a photo finish camera. The last 19 Derby winners have all been by 1 or more lengths. There's been no great drama on the wire. The winner's been clear a length or two, and we're still waiting for a photo finish. That'd be kind of fun. Also, the weather. I mean, this is in the 2010s. This is the 4th time the track's been wet, fast, sloppy, or muddy. And that's a new record by decade, going back to the 1930s.
Wow.
I mean, maybe there is a change in weather. They're saying on the globe. There's
Now, don't believe the scientists ever.
No, 6 years in a row with a favorite. So now we were debating this because we had that string of long shots. Mind That Bird, 50-1 wins the Derby. And now we've had 6 straight favorites in a row. What's better for the sport? Is it better for the sport when the favorite wins,
I think
Justify? So. Or do people like long shots? Because it's the only time, let's face it, that a lot of folks come to the track once a year or bet. Yep. And it's the day that they watch on NBC and they watch the Derby. So do you think people talk about it the next day?
I think it's better for the sport when a long shot wins, because in the last 20 years we've had Cigar, we've had Smarty Jones, we've had Zenyatta, we've had American Pharoah, and you keep hearing from throughout the thoroughbred racing media, which I guess we're part of, but that the sport needs a superhero, needs a superstar. We've had some fantastic stars in this sport. Granted, some of those 3-year-olds haven't run the next year, haven't stayed around long enough, but Zenyatta certainly did. So did Cigar. It's just, racing is definitely behind football, basketball, baseball. There's no getting around that. And I think when a long shot wins, like Mind That Bird or Giacomo, and people see those huge payoffs up there, there's nothing wrong with that.
Well, they don't make movies called 4-1.
That's right.
I mean, they made a movie called 50-1, but
about Mind That Bird.
I mean, I have a different take because I think more people bet on the favorite, more people win. Because they're betting. I mean, that's the difference of our sport than some of these other sports.
True.
You know?
I think you can jazz up the Triple Crown with the media by having a big logical win the first leg. I think it adds into intrigue that we might have a horse try to win all 3. You get something like a Mind That Bird or a Giacomo, a horse who is a big outsider. It's kind of tough for them to win 3. It's usually got to be one of the favorites going to the Derby to have a Triple Crown winner. So.
Well, we've only had one Triple Crown since 1978, so it's not like that happens all the time.
True, it doesn't happen, but I just think you can build – the favorite has a better chance of winning the middle leg than some Mind That Bird kind of horse who's a big long shot.
Yeah.
And
it's fun to have a good story. Like Funny Side won the first 2, and he was kind of a long shot.
He was 13-1.
Yeah,
he was.
And Bob Baffert had a 20-1 winner back with War Emblem. So Baffert, by the way, 5 Kentucky Derby wins, just 1 off the all-time record for a trainer. Ben Jones has 6, so Baffert tremendous as well. But, a lot of tickets get cashed when the favorite wins.
Yep.
But so many of those occasional fans are that come to the Derby or once a year.
They cash those show tickets, those $2 show tickets, right?
They don't pay badly in the Derby. Everything pays good.
They paid good this
relatively.
year.
Yeah. Hey, Scotty Olson of Decide the Derby fame, the Win Play show on KGR 9:50 a.m. from Seattle. He had Justify. He had first pick and took Justify several weeks ago, and he got a $100 win wager courtesy of Emerald Downs and the Win Play show. There's Scotty with his winning ticket.
Looks happy.
The day after the Derby. He's happy. We're all pretty happy, and we'll be back shortly here on Emerald Downs Weekly.
Boy, Phil, I'm glad I made those bets.
That's right. Good.
You should have
Nice
listened
work,
to me.
Gary.
I said Justify. How many times do I have to say it? Justify.
Let's see you
Guaranteed
picking up
winner.
Preakness.
Go watch last week's show on YouTube.com. Find out the truth. Liars.
How do you spin that? I need to watch that again. I wasn't really paying that close attention.
Emerald Downs Weekly, and we want you to go to youtube.com and watch last week's show if you can. And
that might mysteriously be deleted.
Yeah, you
Phil,
took it down.
No, I guess you're track president. You have the power. Joe Withy, Gary Doherty, Phil Ziegler here, and we lost one of the greats in Emerald Downs history. Flying Notes passed away last week at the age of 19. He lived a pretty darn good, long life. In fact, he had an outstanding retirement provided by Johnny and Ruth Lewis, who owned Flying Notes. They purchased him at the WTBOA sale back in 2000. There he is being ridden, and the Lewises loved that horse. Why wouldn't they? He was one of the fastest horses we ever had here. He won at age 2, And as a 3-year-old, he ran a time in the Emerald Downs Derby. There it is on top. Those are the fastest 1 1/8 ever at Emerald Downs. Poker Brad did pretty well at that distance, but look, he's a full second slower than Flying Note's time of 1:45 and 2. And I'm going to say right now that no horse has run that fast or faster since 2002 at 1 1/8 on dirt in North America.
Wow.
That's quite a stat, Phil.
That is.
Yeah. He was a 3-year-old, trained by Bud Klokstad, owned by the Lewises, and Kevin Radke rode him in that famous 2002 Emerald Downs Derby. He had kind of a rivalry that summer with Salt Grinder. They'd traded beating each other in route stakes that year. In fact, Salt Grinder went off favored in the Derby over Flying Notes.
He did.
But let's recap that September race of 2000, or let's watch it, as Flying Notes was one tremendous individual that day. To have the fastest 1 1/8 that nobody's been able to touch in, 16 years now.
Right.
Locked up.
Gary.
Away in racing in the Derby, Flying Notes came out well. World Light got cut off at the start and is a distinct last. Flying Notes and Salt Grinder go straight to the front. Flying Notes is 3 deep and now Salt Grinder's poked through in the centre. But Flying Notes accelerates as soon as he sees Salt Grinder coming. And this leader, Flying Notes, looks all set for victory. Flying Notes turns into the lane in the Derby, 5 in front. Salt Grinder's second. World Light is third. Back on the inside, blowing in the wind. But Flying Notes is absolutely awesome today. Flying Notes is going to crush them. This is going to be one of the most remarkable Derby wins. Flying Notes inside the final 16th is going to score a scintillating victory. Flying Notes wins by 15 lengths.
Wow.
Kevin Radke aboard, and Robert Geller really captured the moment
He
there.
did. He saw it happening. That was a great call.
11 1/4 lengths from first and second.
You know, and watching that race, watching him come down the stretch, as Robert called it that way, he basically sprinted around the whole track at 1 1/8. I mean, it was a rare performance.
Fractions.
Yeah.
45 and 4. Now this is going 1 1/8. 45 and 4, 108 and 2, a mile, 132 and 3.
Wow.
And then 145 and 2/5 for 1 1/8. That was simply amazing.
Yeah, 145 and 2. The North American records, 145 flat, actually set and still held by Simply Majestic, a 2-time Longacres Mile winner. He did that in 1988, but again, nobody has topped or even equaled Flying Notes' time in 16 years of North American racing.
And that was Kevin Radke won 6 of the last 7 races that day for a 6-bagger. So that's why he was so excited, Phil, in winning that stakes
You are
race.
Mr. Trivia.
Well, we got great media guides. We got great history at Emerald Downs.
And you were here that day. I can't say I was here that day. You guys were.
I was right next to Victor the Predictor, watching another run of the Derby here. It's been around a long time, going back to the 30s. And it's a sad to hear that, Flying Notes passed away.
Yeah.
He's one of the special horses that kind of put us on the map and did some big things.
Yeah, he was really a tremendous talent. Bud Klokstad picked another one out at a sale that came to fruition, and that was one of the great efforts. Many people say that's the greatest performance in Emerald Downs history. It's hard to argue with that.
I agree with that.
I always think of it first myself. And we caught up with a few track regulars that were here that day as well, and let's get their impressions of the 2002 Derby.
Every now and then you see those freakish races, and it was just he broke out of there and he broke out running, and he was going this horrid pace and kept thinking he was going to slow up, and he just kept rolling and rolling and rolling. And it's an amazing race, and once in a while you see really good horses do that. And if you look at like Secretariat's Belmont was a freakishly out of their mind kind of race, and Flying Notes ran that sort of race in there, and if you pull it up and watch it, you'll see exactly what I mean, because once in a while a horse just keeps running. It's like they're just possessed and they could just keep going. But that was unbelievable. And I remember the race. I can picture it in my mind as we're talking, and he laid it down all the way.
Well, I just remember he came out of the gate and went to the front, and he just kept going fast the whole way and never slowed down. Won very easy. He was an impressive horse that day. 45 and change for 1 1/8. Don't get much better than that anywhere, I don't think. So that's a nice race.
I was working in the jocks room at the time, and I had Kevin Radke's tack, and he came in, he was ready. He said, boy, this horse blew out really good last week. I'm ready to go. Bud's got him right. And what I remember is when they turned for home, that horse he exploded and run down there in 45-2 or something like that. That horse was flying. It looked like he was running a quarter mile. I couldn't believe it. And then I looked up and seen the clock at 45-2, and I'm like, holy cow, I've never seen a horse run that fast.
Not many have seen a horse run that fast. And
I'm betting he didn't say holy cow either at the time.
The Derby for many years was after the mile a couple weeks. And I remember talking to Bud Klokstad about the mile because he had Jumron 1, who was an outstanding 2- and 3-year-old here. Was a 4-year-old that year. Flying Notes was a 3-year-old. And I says, Bud, who are you going to run the mile? Are you going to run? I might run that little red horse. He is awful fast. He is really fast. And then he didn't run him. He saved him for the Derby, this race. But we do have a couple of North American records here at Emerald Downs. There's I Keep Saying in 2014. He holds the 6.5 furlong North American dirt record of 1:12.4, and we also have Hollywood Harbor. Hollywood Harbor has the 5.5 record.
Yep.
And the Great Face and Willie the Cat had that as well here. So we still have 2 North American records. Flying Notes just 2/5 off Simply Majestic. So our track has yielded some great moments over the years. Flying Notes, one of them. He was a great one. Trivia for this week. Bob Baffert, or how many of Bob Baffert's Kentucky Derby winners have gone on to win the Preakness Stakes? Of course, he's had 4 previous Kentucky Derby winners before Justify. We'll be right back on Emerald Downs Weekly. How many? Come up with a number. Don't give it away yet.
It's got to be more than 0. It's not 0.
Emerald Downs Weekly right here on NBC Sports Northwest every Thursday night at 11 p.m. And then you can catch us once again, repeat performance Friday morning at 9 a.m. And we're looking forward to being with you throughout the Emerald Downs season. Another big weekend as we talked, and we'll recap that a little bit. But how about that trivia answer?
Yeah,
I think you threw out the right answer there during the break. Yeah. What'd you say, Phil?
I think I said, let's see, what's the answer?
Well, you threw it out.
4.
Yeah.
That's what I said, 4.
That's pretty strong.
I was making all these correct predictions.
How
Justify winning the Derby,
Justify.
getting this right.
How many can you actually name?
Bob Baffert has had 5 Kentucky Derby winners, of course, 4 before Justify, Silver Charm, Real Quiet, War Emblem, and American Pharaoh. They all 4 went on to win the Preakness. How's that for a training job coming back in 2 weeks?
Love Silver Charm. I got a great picture of Silver Charm. I was touring the barn area at Del Mar or Santa Anita, one of them, and he was there. I got a nice picture of him.
So that even
4 for 4?
Yeah. That makes Justify a pretty strong favorite on the 19th, doesn't it?
Yes, I'd say he'll be 30 cents to the dollar.
That's pretty close. I think you're right. So Bob Baffert, Derby and Preakness combo has been working pretty good, and it's coming up again on Saturday, May 19th. Emerald Downs has Preakness Pancakes that morning, and, of course, the Preakness Stakes during the afternoon on our live card.
I'm not making any pizza bets for that Preakness Stakes.
Yeah. You got to pay up the first one.
I'm going to pay up first.
You got to pay up first.
I will. I'm going to get pepperoni. I like the pepperoni.
Preakness Pancakes.
I'll pick the pizza I like the best, and that would be pepperoni.
Yes.
Okay. Well, yeah. Pay your debts, and move on. Well, we're talking about some good horses in Emerald Downs history. How about Mach 1 Rules? Last year's horse of the meeting. He's going down as a pretty darn important horse in this track's history, Gary. Undefeated as a 2-year-old, 4 for 4.
He's like danced every dance, it seems, in 3 years. Not missing a stakes and showing up, getting the wire first many times. And he's going to have the pressure, being the Washington Horse of the Year last year, to have another big campaign. And I want to know, there's an interesting question. You got any hints on this? Who might be riding him in his first stakes here?
Yeah, that's a good point. Isaias Enriquez rode him last year. And when Isaias got aboard, he really started running and winning and defeating Barkley. But
he found that key.
4 for 4 as a 2-year-old, state champion, Mach 1 Rules. As a 3-year-old, he had those tough beats, photo finish losses to Barkley, one after the other. But last year, he finally beat Barkley in the Budweiser Stakes here at Emerald Downs. He followed that up with a win in the Mount Rainier, then went into the mile as one of the favorites. And, of course, Gold Rush Dancer won last year's mile, but Mach 1 Rules was second. Then he won the Washington Cup, the Muckleshoot Tribal Classic. So horse of the year for Washington, 3 outstanding years of racing, and we're expected to see him. He's back at Emerald Downs. Let's hear from trainer Frank Lucarelli.
Well, we're excited. He's 5 this year, and as long as he stays healthy, and he is right now, then he should have a very good year. He had a couple races down south, just got beaten a bad photo there in Oakland in the Oakland Handicap, and then we decided to give him 3 months off so he'd be fresh for up here. So focus mainly on being here and trying to have a good year like last year. So he's trained very well. He worked all his works except his last work here at Golden Gate Fields, and he's happy and doing good, and we're excited to get him going again. You know, we're fortunate that way, because you're right, a lot of horses, they can only sprint or they can only route, so you miss a few of these races. With him, we're able to run in all these races, and you know, he's just one of those horses. He'll rate a little, he'll go, and he's very easy to you know, sit on and get him to relax, and you know, he's very versatile, and he's a good horse that way. I had Gallant Son, who was very versatile that way as well, and you're fortunate when that happens, because you do get one-dimensional horses. They want to route or they want to sprint, but I don't know. He's just one of those good horses that he's pretty game and runs hard, and I'm not positive if he's better at a mile or 6 still. He's 5, and I'm still like, oh, whatever comes up, we'll be there.
Yeah. Well, that's a good problem to have, not knowing what his best distance is, because they're all good. And one of Frank's top owners there, Roy and Ellie Schaefer, are in charge. They're the owners. They've benefited from the great career, the ups and downs, and mostly ups with Mach 1 Rules. It was a little frustrating during his 3-year-old season there when Barkley beat him. Phil,
Barkley's going to be joined by another horse from that stable as well this year.
That's right. So lucky.
So lucky.
He was state champion 2-year-old of 2016, and he only raced a couple of times last year. He didn't really have much of a physical issue, just a very small one. Howard Belvoir aired on the side of caution, gave him the year off, and he's been burning up the track in the morning on workouts. So, yeah, looking forward to the older horse division here at Emerald Downs. And Mach 1 Rules is back, and, yeah, he is, again, going down as one of our top horses ever.
Rivalries are great. I mean, we talked about favorites, long shots, but rivalries. Right. You know, Affirmed Alidar, and
Dr. Fager, Damascus Buckpasser. You heard about those when you were kids,
Admiral, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was
saw that in the movie.
Yeah, that was tremendous.
Salt Grandeur and Flying Notes.
But a lot of people they got into this Barkley Mach 1 Rules thing here. It was a big deal, and it'll be great to see that happen again. Maybe a few other horses join the fray, and it'll be an exciting division.
Yeah. One rivalry that didn't happen was Attaboy Roy and Noosa Beach. They just barely missed it, because Attaboy Roy was here in 2009, won all 3 of his sprints, set a new state record of 107 flat for 6 furlongs. His only loss was in the mile when he threw his shoe and forgot to change leads. And then Noosa Beach came out the next year and just became the track king for 2 years. But Attaboy Roy went to Kentucky and around the Midwest and earned like $350,000 elsewhere that year. Anyway, that one didn't happen, so that's why I'm talking about it, Phil.
Yep, time to go to break.
Okay, well, yeah, Attaboy Roy, Noosa Beach, Sabertooth, Kid Catabatic, Westside Clyde, Willie the Cat, the Great Face, some of the fastest horses in Emerald Downs history. We'll be back with more here on Emerald Downs Weekly.
Charlie the bartender, shout out.
Yes.
Haven't done that in a few weeks.
That's a good point.
Yes.
Yeah.
Should get him in there.
Should I get pasta with a pizza or just pizza? We don't need to get
knowing you're gonna look in your mailbox for coupons.
You know, Phil, I'll pack you.
The way he opens mouth, inserts foot, he should keep track of coupons. Coupon tycoon. Thanks for watching Emerald Downs Weekly right here on NBC Sports Northwest. Racing Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at Emerald Downs this weekend. 6:30 on Friday nights and 2 p.m. on Saturday and Sunday. Sunday's Mother's Day, and just looking forward to the whole weekend, of course, here at the track. Hey, I wanted to give credit to the people who really picked Justify to win the Derby. The actual people that picked Justify on our show last week, as you might have seen, some of the horsemen got involved. And Jody Peets, Gordy Jarnig, Dana Halverson, and Don Miller all had Justify right on top.
Give them credit.
Not second, but on top for the Kentucky Derby. Nice work from those folks. As the favorite won, and he looks like a pretty special horse. He's undefeated, 4 for 4. This weekend at Emerald Downs, again, it's a Fab Friday. The T-shirt, get here anytime 4 p.m. or later.
Why were they betting the Jack horse? What was that horse in the Derby?
My Boy Jack.
Why?
Well, Kent DeSormo's won 3 times.
Where did he finish? He finished 5th.
This is our Fab Friday T-shirt. Get this when you pay your admission on Friday. You can wear it back for free admission the whole rest of the season.
Mendelssohn will finish
a lot of people like
several conversations going on Emerald Downs Weekly right now, which is
multitask.
Fine. But hey, let's talk about Friday night a little bit, or a pick for the weekend. Last year's claimer of the meeting was Wine at 9. He was tremendous. When he didn't win, he was finishing right behind horses like Emmett Park or Mike Man's Gold, and he's already got a win this year, Phil.
Yeah, and he comes back and he's going the claimer of the meet. He goes against 25,000, 22.5 claimers. This is tough.
What did your horse pay last time?
Wait. He was 1 to 9 last time.
1 to 9.
Okay, granted, 1 to 9. Friday night, interesting decision.
Rocco 1 to 5?
Bowen, he presumably had his choice of 3 horses that he's ridden. He did not pick to ride Wine at 9.
Yeah, that's surprising.
Gary Wales is going to be on him.
Wine at 9 has won 8 of his last 12 starts. They've all been here at Emerald Downs. Already off and running this year. I don't think he's going to be a super heavy favorite because Big Hat Charlie's in there, who's a very fast sprinter and has an excellent record at Emerald Downs and at the distance.
And that's where Rocco went, right?
22.5, 25,000 claimer. Yeah, Rocco's on Big Hat Charlie. Rocco, our leading rider so far with 10 victories. So you're going to take Wine at 9?
Yeah, I'm taking him.
I am too. I'm taking Wine at 9. He's
just gave you every reason he wouldn't win, and now I'm taking him.
He's 5 for 9 at the. I mean, this horse is just capable of great performances, one after another, and he's got 3 weeks since his last race. You're looking at a different race for your hot selection.
And for $25,000, you can own him.
Yeah,
he's in a claiming race. I mean, that's remarkable about these claiming races is these horses, they can change hands. They're for sale.
He ran for $2,500 in August of 2016.
Wow. That's a good investment right there.
I'm going to go I'm going to Saturday, race 7. Harbor the Gold horse, Bet the Harbor. He won his first start of the meet, April 28th, going wire to wire. Oh, I'll have to pace a little bit. Jose Zuniga retains the mount. And
is that a new jockey at Emerald Downs?
Jose's a defining ostrich champion.
That's right.
Bet the Harbor won for $15,000. Now he's going to go up and run for a tag of 20. He's got one big horse coming back from last year, from the Howard Belvoir-born horse called The Press.
The Press, okay.
Lots of back class, but I'll see if we can beat him this time. Maybe The Press needs one before he runs his best race.
Okay, The Press, stakes winner here as a 3-year-old a couple years ago. Okay, so there's a couple looks at the weekend activity at Emerald Downs. Again, just another big week. Business has been great so far. Phil, that was pretty much your decision to run on Sunday for opening day, April 22nd, a one-day week. We had a great day, followed it up with another nice weekend. I think business has been, you got to be happy with it. So far.
Field size is great. We like to see a lot of horses out there competing. We got a great card for Friday night, and Saturday and Sunday's going to be good as well. And it's always you look at the weather forecast. We watch it like a hawk every week, looking at the weather forecast, and it looks like it's going to be beautiful this weekend. And Sunday, 83 degrees, I think the forecast right now.
That's what you guys are saying.
It's going to be nice for all the families to come out. We keep reminding folks, ages 17 and under, always free at Emerald Downs. This is family friendly. Bring the whole family out to the track for a great afternoon. We have free parking. You can't find that anywhere around here. I parked in Bellevue a few weeks ago. I thought I hit the lottery. I only paid $5 to park.
Wow.
I know. So free parking at Emerald Downs is available, or you can pay a little and have preferred parking or valet.
Okay, well, you can enjoy the horseshoe toss. Sign up for that. Make sure Mom or the gals that come in on Sunday fill out their free entry blank to be eligible for some great gifts that we'll be drawing throughout the day from the Big Hopper. Just a lot going on this weekend. Mother's Day and the stakes races start the following weekend.
Yep.
And we've talked about Preakness Pancakes, the Preakness Stakes as well, and not quite the betting event that the Kentucky Derby was or is, just due to a lot of horses probably won't try Justify this time around.
Right. I'm hoping that Good Magic, they're on the fence right now, but it'd be fun to see him enter and run against, going mile and 1/3/16, a little shorter in the Derby, and that would make up for a nice race there with Jose Ortiz riding Good Magic for Chad Brown. I really thought he might run by Justify in this stretch, because Justify went 45, 111. He was tiring, but nobody just had the ability to have the stamina to run the last eighth of a mile.
It was a little funny, the finish there, because it was quite a slow last half of the race, last 3 furlongs or so, and yet nobody was really closing other than Instilled Regard. I think, who was your pick? Audible?
Audible, yeah. I was
pretty well.
I liked the horse
Phil and I
Good
beat
Magic.
you.
But you guys had already picked the horse, so I thought, I'd make an Audible.
I had the winner.
Picked Audible. You had the winner?
Yeah, Justify.
Let's see. You're not on my list for Justify here. You didn't make the list.
Did you have the trifecta numerous times?
Okay.
The tri-paid
That's it.
$70
That's a show.
for 50 cents. That was pretty good.
See you
That's a
next
show.
week.
Hey, we'll be talking about this stuff and more stuff next week on Emerald Downs Weekly. Have a great weekend. Hope to see you at the track. And thanks for watching here on NBC Sports Northwest.
The show just continues on in the office. Right?
Pretty much.
Yeah, people just can't see it.
Okay.
Big money.
Pizza party.
Pizza party. Should I get one
You
or
look
two?
real comfortable right now.
Should I get 1 or 2 pies?